Kia ora, school, and welcome to Pentecost Sunday, the day that the Holy Spirit gave birth to the church. I trust that you've been enjoying your long weekend and you will continue to do so tomorrow and on Tuesday. While we were in lockdown, I set an exercise for a number of my classes asking what interesting or exciting things that they had done during the period of lockdown. One of the boys came back to me and said that he had been practicing tackling sheep on the farm that he came from. I suppose with the absence of teammates and the ability not to practice rugby, we do what we can to stay fit. I, however, looked into this practice and realized that it's quite common for this kind of thing to happen in New Zealand and other countries. Up until a number of years ago, it would even happen at half-time in a rugby game. They would let a whole lot of sheep out onto the field, and the children would come down and try and tackle the sheep during half-time, and then the game would carry on to its completion. In more recent times, this activity of sheep tackling has been used as a team-building exercise, a way to get rugby and other teams to work together to achieve their common goal. I'd like to ask you to take a look at the following video clip as we think about the teamwork involved in this and many other things.
So when we came 2 years ago, it sounded like a really fun, sort of varied activity, something the boys wouldn't have experienced before, and that was probably the main reason why we decided to come. But actually stood in the field that day, it became really clear that, you know, there's a huge amount from a sort of team development point of view that we can take from the experience of sheep herding, and even more specifically as a rugby team, we felt that there were lots of parallels. So yeah, that's why we're back today. This is the first time that our lower sixth boys and upper sixth boys would have played on the same team. So in terms of them getting to know one another, what they're like as people, how to get the best out of their teammates, it's really important from that perspective. You see all of the different characters that you'd expect to see within a team. You see who leads, you see who's quite happy to be instructed, you see the boys that go off piste and do their own thing, you see the boys that become disillusioned and give up. So you know, from my perspective, it's really given me an inkling into the type of player that I've got coming through. Then more specifically, in terms of rugby, the communication, how the way that the sheep look to dart through gaps, the way that they pick on weaknesses, the way that they find those holes, very sort of comparable to sort of a rugby defence in many instances. So posed a problem that they would never have experienced before, and it's been really enlightening watching how they've gone about solving that problem as a team. The boys have had a great time doing something that is completely removed from anything they'd usually do in their day-to-day.
I'll be reading from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely all the goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thank you, Edward, for that reading. Today we're going to continue to look at Psalm 23 as I ask you to think back to one of the toughest sports games that you've ever played. A game where you walked off the field and you'd given it everything. You were absolutely exhausted when you walked into the change room. There were three things that you needed at that point in time. The one was a steak, the other one was a shower, and the last one was a sleep. God, the creator of the universe who made us, knows these things about us. And through King David, he writes the following in Psalm 23. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. The steak. He leads me beside quiet waters, the shower. He restores my soul, the sleep. And as we are blessed and fortunate to be able to have those things in our lives, after exerting ourselves in our daily life, in our sporting activities, and whatever else takes it out of you, we thank the Lord that we have a steak, something to eat, a shower, a place to get clean, and sleep, a bed, and a house where we can rest our head. Today is the church's birthday. And what better way to celebrate Pentecost than by giving a gift? Last week we started looking at the women's refuge and stocking the food banks after half term. I would like to appeal to you to be like those boys in that video, working together to catch those sheep. As a school, I would like to ask us to come together as a team, to pile up and fill 2 trailers, and to have so much stock for the women's refuge that we don't have place to put it. What a wonderful way to celebrate the church's birthday. And so, over the next 2 days, as you spend time relaxing and enjoying your half term, please could I ask you to go out and buy some non-perishable items to put in the trailers. And I will put a list of the things that are needed for the women's refuge straight after this clip. You can drop them off on Wednesday morning from 7:50 to 8:20 at the 2 drop-offs on Pacofy Road and on Lyndhurst Road. Jesus was absolutely incredible in the way that he sacrificed his life for me and for you with no thought to himself. Let us be God's hands and feet as we do the same for those who are struggling during this time of winter and as a result of COVID and lockdown. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and enjoy the rest of your half term.
Here at Lindisfarne College, we are looking to help Women's Refuge and other small food banks in hopes of making a difference to other people's lives. Children are being raised by single mothers who are in a tough financial situation, and we are fortunate enough to be privileged where we can make a difference. How might you do this? If you're in your local supermarket, consider putting in an extra item or 2. Stuff like personal hygiene, clothing, food, or toys can make a massive difference to Kiwi family lives. This may not seem like a lot, but every item makes a difference, and this small act makes a huge impact to those in need. Donating to Women's Refuge or to a local food bank is as easy as dropping it off to your tutor teacher or any staff member at school. Never underestimate the difference you can make in the lives of others. Step up, change lives.